It's over. I'm finished. Through. I'll never ascend Mount Destiny with my fragile frame. All is lost.
You know there's stairs, right?
Oh. Thanks.
Want to come with me? Yeah, sure. Come on. Cool. And we're back with another Write With Me Wednesday. Hey guys, it's Miriam, and today we're going to be talking about supporting characters. So grab your favorite hot drink, and let's get into it. From Reap in Narnia Prince Caspian to Mo from WALL-E, there are great supporting characters everywhere that help your world come to life. But what's the purpose of them? Why do we need supporting characters? And what do they do? So first of all, what is a protagonist? What is an antagonist? What is a contagonist? Well, basically, a protagonist is your main character / kind of hero character that the story primarily follows. It's about their journey completing their goal. The antagonist is very similar to the protagonist in regards to upbringing or maybe personality, but they went to the dark side. So the protagonist goes towards the principle in order to make the world better or for good, and the antagonist went to pursue the opposite. Future Miriam here. By the way, antagonists don't have to be a mirror of the protagonist. That's just a common trait. Then we have our supporting characters. There's support and there's contagonist or antagonistic support character. One helps more so the protagonist, one might help the antagonist, and one might be the chaotic good guy who ends up helping the protagonist but in a negative way. We'll talk about that more in a minute. The primary roles that supporting characters will take are split into two groups. Number one, their purpose is to either develop the protagonist or antagonist, or two is to develop the world or culture of the world. Let's look at an example. Reap from Narnia Prince Caspian. At the final battle, Reap is mortally wounded, and he's brought to Aslan and Lucy. Lucy rushes to heal Reap with her little cordial, puts a couple drops in his mouth, and he's back. But he doesn't have a tail. And he's a bit embarrassed he does not have a tail, being such a dignified little mouse. Aslan roars and gives Reap back his tail, and he's all excited and happy. He's like, yes! I'm alive, but I also have my tail! Yes! In that very simple scene, it developed Lucy, who's a primary protagonist, a main character, who gets to show her heart and her kindness. Aslan gets to show his generosity and his power by giving Reap back his tail. And Reap, who's just happy to be alive and so honored. That's number one, he developed the other characters. Number two, as we saw, the culture. Reap represents the Narnians, or an aspect of the Narnian culture. His deep honor and praise and cherishing of his tail and thankfulness towards Aslan developed their culture and further solidified the world. Types of influence. A supporting character will always have one of two types, a positive influence and a negative influence. So, what are some examples? First off, let's look at Sam from Lord of the Rings. Everybody knows Sam, everybody loves Sam. Frodo's like, ugh, I can't go on, the ring is too heavy. And Sam's like, I may not be able to carry the ring, but I can carry you. And so he picks him up, puts him on his shoulders, and they reach the top of Mount Doom. Dun dun dun! More stuff happens. That is a crucial moment though. They almost gave up. They almost did, and then Sam comes and he saves the day. Yes, I like Sam. Sam was a positive influence, not only in this critical point, but several points throughout the story, continuously encouraging Frodo to keep going. Now let's look at a negative influence. This is the part that we get into the contagonist, or the antagonistic support character. One's a mouthful, I'm just gonna say contagonist. So a contagonist is not a bad guy per se. They could be, or they can be more of a good resistance, like a teacher or something similar, a mentor who's getting in their way, in the protagonist's way. A great example is Kung Fu Panda Shifu. Shifu tries literally everything he can think of to get Po out of the palace. He thinks, oh, he's just a mistake, let's get him out of here. He sabotages him, he calls him names, he beats him up, and yet Po is more determined than ever to become the Dragon Warrior. That's an example of the contagonist who had a negative influence, yet the opposite effect was the end result. And they're friends in the end, so that's great, have some dumplings. So now we know what a supporting character is, what their purpose is, and the influence that they have. But how do we make one? That's where this comes in. This is a condensed format from the Writer's Pyramid, which you can find right here on YouTube. It's about structuring your story into a condensed outline that overviews everything so it makes your creativity more bearable and simpler, so you can make choices easier. So with that, we're gonna take the plot from Zinc, that's also in that video. He is in this space age and he's trying to figure out how to save his world. He finds a little scroll from the ancients and he's trying to decipher it. He's run into a problem now because he can only partially read it. Now we need a supporting character to complement him. We learned in that other video when we developed Zinc that he has a loner personality. With that in mind, let's make our supporting character. Also, I need to mention in the Writer's Pyramid, when I made that list of describing them, I forgot something a little important. I forgot a weakness tab, a little section for their weaknesses, at least one. That with all of those together with the weakness, that's how you make a well-rounded character, because nobody's perfect. And nobody's perfect, I forgot. But I got it this time. So, yeah. The condensed format for needing a character in a pinch that I made up for supporting characters is this. Number 1, the type. Supporting or contagonist, which also would be positive influence versus negative influence. Relationship to the protagonist or the antagonist. Their motivation. For their appearance, it's not as an extensive list as you would use for your main character, because we don't need that. So it's just the highlights. That being the gender, age, name, and outstanding features, which would include their dress or a scar, something that really pops that you can reference when you're talking about that character. Then we have their personality, their quirk or talent, that they're something they're good at, and their weakness. Again, it's not as extensive, but we don't need that. And just having a few simple details to reference in your outline, it's made my writing, I can't even believe how much faster it is. It allows me to tap into that character in an instant and reference them. It's so helpful, for me at least. Using that framework, I chose a supporting character. Relationship to protagonist is fellow street rat, the protagonist being Zed. The motivation, she wants friends. She's lonely, and she'll do anything for them. For her appearance, we have, her female. Her name is Vera. Age 13. Her outstanding features being she has curly, jet black hair, one-piece tracksuit that she wears with a purple scarf. For personality, we have mischievous tomboy. Thief is her quirk / talent, and conversely, Conversely, we have the weakness being a kleptomaniac. In other words, someone who can't help but steal. She's both good at it and it's her weakness, which is an interesting dynamic. Great. So now we have our supporting character. Now we insert them into the plot. The scene that we needed them for, the problem that they are there to solve, which touches on plot progression. We'll talk about that some other time. Decide their purpose, or in other words, the problem they're going to solve. The way that they're going to develop the main character is by solving that problem or helping solve that problem. The cultural context, the cultural development side of it happens naturally, and I really wouldn't worry about it too much. The more natural it is to you when you're writing it, the more natural it is to the story, so you can keep that in mind, but don't stress too much. Zed's problem, back in our outline, was it Zed? No, it is not Zed. Okay, every time I said Zed, that was wrong. It's supposed to be Zinc. Oh my gosh, what kind of story am I writing? So now we have our supporting character. What role are they going to play? We've already decided that they're going to be supporting and a positive influence. Okay, great. Now how are we actually going to apply that? We do it by identifying the problem. Zinc has a scroll that he needs to decipher. He doesn't know exactly how to do that. Now, we need a side character, supporting character, to direct him a little bit, which will also aid in his development, the primary goal of a supporting character, or solving a problem. Solving problem and developing kind of happens together. So Vera shows up when Zinc he's all bummed that he accidentally bumped into Miss Elisa and everybody's mad at him. She tracks him down by the water recycler and the bulkhead right after he has argued with his brother Zane. He's all, And then he found the scroll from the founders and is trying to read it. That's when she comes in. Vera is curious about the scroll and introduced herself. The two exchanged names, briefly getting to know each other. And then Vera mentions there's a place where the chicken scratch, or the ancient text, she's seen it before at some old storage pod. So the two of them go to investigate Gate.
We are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
The two go to investigate to find more clues. That is a great example of how to use a supporting character to develop the main character, usually by solving a problem, emotional or literal, and the cultural development will happen as time goes on. In coming videos, I'd like to discuss more about plot progression and how to solve problems, bring up obstacles, how things go up and down. That's a huge topic, and it's so important as a storyteller to understand the ebb and flow of a plot that you get to choose where it's going. As you watch more Write With Me Wednesdays, you're going to build more and more skills to be able to create the stories that you want and the skills necessary to make your dreams become reality. That's what storytelling is. Part of it, of course, there's many aspects, but that's the fun part of storytelling. One of them. I hope this video is helpful to you. If you're interested in learning more about writing, art, and how you can use it, go ahead and check out our channel, Tea Time Tales. If you're looking for a great book to read that will keep you on the edge of your seat and is a mystery about teenagers trying to survive in a medieval world, check out our latest release, Isla's Treasure. We have more projects in the works and we're so excited to bring them to you so you can enjoy them like we have. Alright, we'll see you in the next one. Get out there. Got my tea. Get out there and get writing.